So I hope everyone's doing well. Kyle, how you feeling, buddy?
Bewildered. I'm a little bit confused. I don't really know. I don't really know where we're supposed to be looking here for this pick. We've had a lot of misdirection last couple of days with the Kevin Knox push, with both the Bridges, with Michael Porter Jr. supposedly dropping to 12th.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah, it was the latest report. So I really have no idea.
It's going to be wild. Let Kyle take care of the dogs. I think it's going to be crazy, man. We'll see if they make any deals. We'll see what happens. Oh, there's so much happening there. Yeah, so with the Knicks, there was a report, too, that they might be more in on Miles. So it's going to be interesting to see because we've basically thought that McHale was going to be the guy the whole time. So, I mean, going to come down to it. I mean, a lot could happen. Guys ahead of them. I think that it might be kind of out in front of them what's going to happen already in a certain way. Like, I think the first 4 or 5 picks are kind of going to be set in stone. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited. We know Phoenix is going to take Ayton, which is the right pick. Pairing him and Booker is, that's a formidable pairing. And I think they can do a lot of good for them. What's up, guys? Yeah, if you got anything to throw out, you got anything you want us to talk about, feel free. Comment. We got all the comments up. We'll chat with you guys. Anything you want to offer, you want to talk about the Knicks, you want to talk about any other team, I'd love to do that too, because obviously we got a lot of time before the Knicks pick. Should be picking about 8:30. So, a lot to look forward to. Going to be a little less in terms of the foreign guys this year. I was telling Kyle before, like they don't have Frank Fischella on this year, which is interesting. But he's back. Okay. This is a guy, Jerome Robinson. I think he's going to go higher than people think.
He's the guard, no?
BC guard. He's going to go higher than people
I heard
think.
people talking about him as though getting projected.
He could be. I mean, his defense is... But he had some games, like him and this guy Kai Bowman played for BC this year, and they had some games they just absolutely took over. They were awesome in the ACC.
Yeah, but then the thing about Sexton is Sexton only has defense, right? Like that's the pitch.
Well, no. All right, so
like
Sexton,
he can score. He can score.
Let's talk Sexton for a second. Sexton averaged 16, 18 a game at Alabama. So he's a scorer.
But is he an NBA scorer? Is it a translatable NBA score?
That's the question. That's the question you got to ask yourself. So, hey, this is perfect. Someone asked what's the worst case scenario, because I think we both agree that's the worst case scenario if they end up with Sexton, right?
It's the worst case scenario.
So let me lay it out why. I think that with Sexton, I've mentioned this before on the pods we did, I did a live stream earlier this afternoon. I think that you have to be wary of pairing 2 young guards together in the backcourt. It's just something, it's going to take forever these guys to be good. I don't think they're the best pairing because Sexton's not a big point guard. He averaged 3 assists at Alabama. And Jonathan mentioned in the pod this morning, too. 3.8 assists, about 3 turnovers a game. Terrible assist-to-turnover ratio.
It's not even a good assist rate, and,
No.
and the assist-to-turnover ratio is terrible. But I don't think pairing 2 young guards is good. But if you're going to do it, putting like a Trae Young, who I don't think is going to be there, makes the most sense. We talked about it on the pod a little bit, but if you have to go guard, if you must go guard, at least go guard with somebody who's going to fit next to Frankie. He can shoot a little bit. He can make a little bit, but he plays really good defense. Trae Young plays no defense. He's going to get obliterated, but we know he's a hell of a playmaker, best one in college basketball last year, and he can shoot the lights out. If you must go guard, that'd be the guy you go with.
You just got to... I never got the Sexton thing, and we mentioned this before. All of these people saying that the Knicks were going to take a guard, they must know something we don't. They must have some information that we were not privy to.
Yeah, I mean, Gavoni from Draft Express has been riding the Sexton thing months now. I mean, ever since the Knicks kind of got locked into 9. I mean, he had, he had Sexton going to New York, but I didn't understand it then. Like, if you're going to talk to me about Trae Young, like I just said, the fit makes some kind of sense. Like, I could see why you'd be sold at his upside, why you think pairing him with Frank could work.
Yep.
But Sexton is basically, like, he can score a little bit, but he's not the shooter that Young is that would pair well, with Frank. And then basically, I mean, what's the selling point? You have 2 young defensive guards that you hope develop well.
That's the hope. It would take so long for those guys to be good. People try to project all of these great skills onto Sexton, which is fine. I think he's a skilled player, but it's just going to take forever.
Well, that's the thing too, is I don't ever want to make it out to be like I'm shitting on Sexton because he was one of my, and I don't watch tons and tons of college basketball,
Right.
but he was one of the guys on my short list. Like I really like watching Trae Young. I had a blast watching Sexton in the tournament.
Oh, he's a fun guy to watch. There's no doubt.
I mean, he's very fun. I can see why people like him because I liked him, but if we're trying to be objective and talk about the fit, it doesn't make sense.
Yep. So DeAndre Ayton, number 1 to the Suns. We kind of knew that was coming. They said Gavoni said that they told him weeks ago he was the number 1 pick. Which, if you remember when it first happened, people were kind of wondering because they hired the coach that had coached Doncic in international play.
I kind of thought Doncic was going to be a lock.
Say that name. Say his name.
Where?
The Phoenix head coach.
Kokoskov?
Yeah, that's good. Igor Kokoskov. Yeah. Dude, you're getting better.
Yeah, baby steps. The key is I'll read them to myself, and then I'll actually say it out loud to make sure what I read makes some sort of sense out loud.
Bro, Ayton is such an animal.
I'm
really excited.
Well, I was going to ask you, while we're waiting here for Sacramento to make their Bagley pick, have you also noticed the teardown campaign for Ayton?
Yeah, well, people like to shit on his defense, which I get. Like, there's worries about it, but, I mean, the guy is 7'1". He looks like he's just so chiseled. Like, I don't know if I've seen a player in college look like he does with that build. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I saw this, like, really, really lightly get tossed up before on Twitter with Amari Stoudemire, but from a physique standpoint,
yeah,
I get it. Because, I mean, Amari didn't go to college, but Amari had a grown man's body, a grown man's NBA body at 18.
Yeah.
And that's why he was able to make the leap as seamlessly as he did.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Like, he looks like just a different person on the floor. He looks like he belongs in his own league. So I get it. But
for a college kid, he's incredible. I get but he can shoot already.
But that's what I mean. Like,
it's gonna get better.
I saw somebody do a Jahlil Okafor joke comparison before, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
That's some bullshit.
Well, because they basically said he's all offense, no defense, and I think, from things that I saw, it looked like there's at least hope for him. Like, he can at least move kind of fluidly, whereas like Jahlil Okafor, you knew there was no hope.
Yes.
Like, you knew, like, basically he's on the block, he's going to beat you down. The only other catch with Jahlil was he had a little bit of playmaking in the post.
Do you think back about how dumb we were with the Jahlil Okafor thing? Don't you feel really dumb now? Like, not us specifically, NBA, just everyone.
Me too, because
we messed it up. Man.
For the first half of the college basketball season, I really liked Okafor.
Yeah.
That year, I watched the most college basketball I had ever watched because the Knicks were so bad. I watched all the Okafor I could, all the Towns I could. D'Angelo Russell was like,
he was a blast.
I wanted him in the worst way. But
you still kind of kid for him, right?
Yeah, I did. And I don't know. I mean, I really I really wanted the Knicks to take Justice Winslow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I that was a tough draft to project. I tell you that much.
Hey guys, keep the questions coming. Anything you got, we're here to talk about everything. So Cavoni just tweeted out with the second. I don't know if they've made the pick yet, but keep an eye. Are we watching on like a stream or something? Are we on? Do you have like or is this cable?
It's cable through Sling.
Oh, okay.
So Sling's usually.
Dude, I got DirecTV now. Yeah, I can cut the cord. Best thing I ever did. Oh shit! All right, so we have a trade. You want to announce it?
Yep.
Was just tweeted. So Atlanta and Dallas are swapping. So I'll just say they're swapping spots. I don't want to give away. If you guys want to be left in the dark, that's fine. So it looks like Atlanta and Dallas are swapping spots. So Dallas is going to move up to that 3 spot, and Atlanta's going to move back to 5 to take a guy that they like. I don't know. Should we say? I don't want to. If anyone's listening, I don't want to spoil anything. What do you think?
So Dallas is at 3 now?
Dallas is at 3.
Well, they're going to take Doncic. Right?
Yeah. So that's Doncic is at 3. But the guy at 5, should we just say? I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't want to spoil for anyone.
So Atlanta's now at 5. And I feel like I know who Atlanta's going to take there.
Who do you think?
Trae Young.
Maybe. Can neither confirm nor deny. But they have loved Trae Young. So let's talk about Bagley real quick. Bagley gets compared to Stoudemire a lot.
I can see it.
And I think that's a pretty apt comparison to like the peak of his powers.
But this is what I don't like, because this is what we do in 2018, where if you're not a plus offensively and a plus defensively, you stink.
Right.
Unless you're Nikola Jokic. But But Bagley, like, let's say he's a plus, right? Offensively. Let's say he's really good offensively. And he has an Amari Stoudemire career. You did your job in the draft. If you land, like, Phoenix Suns Amari Stoudemire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not talking about the injuries and anything else, but, like, from a talent perspective, like, 2010 Amari, when he was fully healthy.
Right.
Like, you get that kind of a player. Like, you did your job. Like, you know how hard it is to find an Amari Stoudemire in the draft?
Really difficult.
Like, if that's what, Bagley ends up being, then, good for you, Kings. Like, you did a good job. Like, you hit on it. Like, and again, we'll see what ends up happening with Doncic, but, I mean, that's what you want. I saw a lot of Kings fans upset today when this broke earlier that Bagley was going to be the number 2 pick for sure, and I was like, well, maybe.
I don't think I'd be upset with that at all. I'm not maybe as high on Bagley as some people, but who else are you going at number 2 that you'd be excited about as a Kings fan? Yeah. I mean, because Jaren Jackson I like, but he's not the guy that's like exciting your franchise. You're not like, fuck yes, we have Jaren Jackson on our team. You know, it's a totally different type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about. But yeah, Bagley's exciting, and I think that they can do some damage with him. Him and Fox should be interesting. But so what do you think? Doncic to the Mavs. How do you feel about that?
I mean, the Mavs are kind of a blank slate. Any team that's a blank slate,
please, they have Harrison Barnes. Please,
how dare I?
Put some respect on that.
How dare I? No, but anytime a team's kind of a blank slate like that, I mean, you have Dennis Smith Jr., Dirk's on the way out, and then there's really nothing else there. You know, Harrison Barnes is kind of there as like a stopgap till whatever the next generation is, and I think Dennis Smith Jr. and Doncic would obviously be that. So I know everyone likes to make it out to be like I hate Doncic as well, but I don't. I'm actually just trying to be really objective about it.
Yep.
But
well, here I want to talk about this for a second because that's who we're going to be talking about coming up. So the guys on One Shining Pod on the Ringer, like Mark Titus and Tate, were talking about Doncic, and their problem is that they think people talk him up without having watched him play at all. And I think that's how you feel, too. Yeah, it's like people just like talking about it because everyone's saying, and they're like, have you actually watched this guy play basketball?
Yeah, no, in the nicest way possible, because NBA Twitter is like a job. Like, you go in, you clock in the morning, you have your conversations, and a lot of these guys that I even disagree with on this, I like a lot, and I don't want to make anyone out to be, that they don't watch at least highlights or some kind of film, but NBA Twitter kind of devolves into this clusterfuck of groupthink a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it kind of runs rampant with certain guys. And, that's sort of my pushback. It's never like, well, a guy stinks. It's like, even when the Jokic thing happened, I was just like, hey, guys, I think he's probably like top 30, but let's cool on the top 15. And everyone wanted to have my head. And I was like, why do we get to that point? And the same thing sort of happening with Doncic. It's just like, you don't think Doncic is number 1? Hater. Like, I can't wait for him to prove you wrong. He's going to be so fucking good. And I'm like, guys, like, let's relax. Like, one of my conversations that went sideways with Doncic, too, was I was like, hey, I think he's definitely worth a top 2 pick. Top 2. Okay? And I was like, but there's concerns with his athleticism for me. Like, the EuroLeague, where he played and dominated, it's not the fastest league. Like, there are very skilled guys there.
I think that's putting it nicely. Not the fastest.
A lot of, yeah. Okay? So, but
it is, in fact, a slow
league. It is for sure better than college basketball, the NCAA. I have no problem saying that, but from a competitive standpoint. But at the same time, I have no problem saying that the NCAA is probably faster and there's more athletes. It's a different.
That's accurate.
So
I don't even like the comparisons, honestly. I just don't think it's such a different game of basketball.
It is. But I don't know. I mean, it is. It's silly to me. It is silly to me. I don't know. I think he's going to do well.
ESPN. You want to put the ESPN? Yeah. Because I think they will see Adam Silver on there.
But I think he's going to do very well. I don't see.
His passing is going to translate.
I think the passing, but this is my thing with a lot of Euro players, and I'm not trying to generalize him, but that's sort of how you succeed there. Is you have to be a team player, you have to be unselfish, you have to be able to pass well.
That's what the coaches preach.
Yeah, and he does that obviously a notch above what's being done regularly there. Probably a couple notches above. He has a really good eye. My thing is, while I think that's going to translate, it's like, well, how much is it going to translate? Is he going to be a 2010 kind of guy? Or is he going to be like a 15-8 kind of guy, 15-6 kind of guy?
Right.
Is he going to be the dominant guy we all think or a lot of people think he's going to be? Or do you think he's going to be a 15-5 wing role player? Is he going to be more Nicholas Batumi in that sense? Or is he going to be...
See, I kind of like that comp for him. Like, that makes sense, at least offensively. Defensively, he doesn't have the length of Batum. But, offensively, you can see him putting up the kind of numbers that Batum did.
Yeah.
With, the assists and everything. But let's talk about the Grizzlies real quick.
Yeah.
Because this is team that's been maybe looking to move out of the spot. We talked about it yesterday with the Knicks. I wonder if they'll actually end up doing anything here. I would say no, but they're going to be fielding calls all the way up to the end. They might still make a deal after this. They might take a guy and have a deal later.
The only reason I'm worried about this pick, as I voiced to you before we went live, was that Woj tweeted earlier that, well, he tweeted his top 6. And
Yep.
so far they've been spot on. But for pick number 4, he tweeted a name, which was Jaren Jackson Jr.,
Yes.
but he didn't tweet a team. And all the other picks, the other 5 picks in that top 6, had a name and a team.
Mm-hmm.
So that alluded to there being a trade. Now, Woj is batting 100 right now. He's batting 1,000.
Yes.
So where's the trade? I don't know if they're actually sitting pat here. Where's the trade actually? So
Does he speak good English like Porzingis? I can't remember. I think he does. I think he worked
I don't
because he knew.
I
he was
don't
coming
think
here.
he speaks Porzingis level good, but I think he speaks more than passable.
Yeah. So this is going to be Dallas, obviously. So why did they make them do this too? We know where he's going. Don't make him put the Hawks hat on. It's so annoying. Yeah, Dallas is sending a 2019 protected first rounder for this. No players, just the picks. Which is kind of interesting, right?
I would have thought they would have tried to get somebody.
Something, maybe something. But it's only 2 spots, so you wonder if there's any assets at all that can end up coming to fruition there.
I mean, maybe you would have liked to sneak a Bazemore or something.
Gavoni said that they had talked about, a Bazemore, like a Wes Matthews, Ken Bazemore swap, something like that. But don't think it was going to happen. Dude, Mike Conley got to chill with that hair, bro. That's a bad look. Are you the Bickerstaff guy, or is that Bailey? That was
I'm never going to sit here and say a guy who's hung around on coaching staffs for years and years and years is a bad coach, ever. I just feel like you know what he is.
Yep.
And you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think it's fine that he got another gig, especially where, I mean, I think they're rebuilding. They look like they're rebuilding. They were rebuilding last year. Looks like they're going to, even with a healthy Conley, I think they're kind of still doing, heading in that direction. But
so Ian Begley just tweeted out about it might be interesting to see how this specific trade impacts the Knicks because maybe a guy like Wendell Carter ends up falling to 9. Do you have any hot takes on Wendell Carter? Is he a guy you would want?
I mean, yeah, I'd want him, but I don't know. Do you think Wendell Carter could play the 4 and KP the 5, successfully?
Yes. And to
That's
me, it
all
doesn't call them 4 or 5. They're just your front court. They're your bigs at the front court positions.
But I mean, the way we saw KP used this year, where he's sort of stuck outside a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Where he's high post all the time. I know that part of that's Hornacek's offense, but
yeah,
in the sense that we'd be basically using KP offensively at the 5 anyway, where you would traditionally see it in a pace and space kind of thing. That's what I'm looking for. If we can just maximize that, I don't really care. If Wendell Carter could fit in that way, I don't really care. And if you guys, and I asked this before too about if everybody thought that he could fit well with KP, and the consensus was yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I care about. That's why I talked myself into Knox, because Knox was the same thing. Knox would play the 4,
right?
And they would go hand in hand together, and KP would play the 5. Fizdale spoke about, hey, how do you feel about playing the 4? Because small ball lineups, and that's alluding to KP playing at the 5 when he's healthy. So to me, if that's what they're drafting for, then a guy like Wendell would make sense. So what do you...
I like Carter because there were some reports that were out there that I just wasn't buying. People say that he has slow feet, and I just don't really...
He looked quite nimble.
I think he is. I wouldn't call him quick, and I certainly don't think he defends the perimeter as well as Jaren Jackson does. But there's no reason for us to think he wouldn't be good on that end. And his passing from the pivot is awesome. That's why people compare him to Horford. That's a comparison that people make.
I've seen that a lot over the last...
I mean, it's a tough comp to make. Horford's a pretty unique player, and he's very good. If Wendell Carter is 75% of Al Horford, that's a huge success.
Yeah.
But, I would be totally fine with Wendell Carter being a Knick, and I think if he's there at 9, I think they'd be kind of crazy to pass him up.
For
that's
me,
where I stand.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as long as they go wing with the emphasis on, I guess, small ball, or with the emphasis on maximizing KP, I don't mind whatever the pick is.
Yep. So the Grizzlies are picking right now.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson.
He makes sense for them. He's a Grizzlies guy. He can play with Gasol and
That's
Conley. He can do a lot with them. I like that pick. But who knows? Like, I don't know if they might do something later on. Who knows? Have to see. Have to see. Tim Hardaway, something about drafting? Oh, Tim Hardaway Jr. taking over the Players Tribune.
Now I wonder if this stays though. That's what I'm trying to think about. Because I'm thinking about is that Woj tweet. I can't get it out of my head.
I think he stays. I think Memphis did their due diligence and then just decided to not make a deal. If I'm being honest, I think that's probably what it came down to. So he's got a nice 3-point shot. All right, relax. Give me a break.
Well, this is what happens.
He is not an excellent shooter by any means.
Does he project as an excellent shooter?
I mean, I don't think his form is that good. And like he used to chuck up threes and you just clank them off the rim all the time. Like I don't really buy that.
I saw a lot
He's
of
a great shot blocker.
I saw a lot of people were talking about they'd be interested for the Knicks to move up and get him, just with the fit with KP.
Right.
Just defensively, they figured it would kind of be seamless there.
Yep. That is for sure. I like him. It'll be fun. Oh my god.
I don't understand how you could say excellent shooter and then
say Joakim Noah. It just makes no sense. Absolutely makes no sense.
It's very strange.
Oh, and then they try to show Joakim shooting a jumper. Give me a break.
The one jumper he's hit in the last 4 years.
Give me a goddamn break.
Did he sign with Puma also?
Jaren Jackson?
I feel like I just saw him wearing
Bagley and Ayton. Were the two guys.
And Michael Porter Jr. Did you see that today?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.